Welcome back to the Quake Pro League Stage One Finals. Jackie and ZSX said they needed a nap, so we brought in 40 Lions and Lethal. We've got our second challenger matchup from the EU region coming up next. It is going to be Sirius versus CNZ. But first and foremost, gentlemen, welcome. Good morning, good afternoon. How are you doing? What'd you think of that last game?
I think the word for the set is bittersweet. Very, very bittersweet. It's sad, but shouts to Garpy, man. He's been knocking on the door for a long time to get back in, and he finally did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird as well because Tox has been scrimming Cypher quite a lot over the last few days, and he looked really good, like very impressive. But then it came into that match, and it wasn't the same what we saw in the scrims. So yeah, sad times.
It's as was mentioned many times, like Tox was there, but still some of those decisions where maybe he was able in the past to just go crazy aggro and just dominate in that sense. Not able to do that. Congratulations to Garpy. But we've now got our second challengers matchup, and this is an interesting one, right? Because you've got CNZ who came in last stage through the challengers and performed very, very impressively throughout the brackets. He had an up and down I would say performance during stage one, but he now goes up against Sirius, and I have a feeling this is going to be a pretty intense match. What do y'all think?
I think it's going to be fantastic. It's going to be a clash of styles, in my opinion. CNZ is kind of more calculated, serious, go off the wall and blew you with LG at these rockets. He's played at a high level before, has Sirius. A couple years ago, it feels like ages ago, in Romania, he actually had a pretty good run. It was a different game back then, though. We'll see how well he's been practicing. It's going to be a good set. I think this might go all five.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. Sirius is normally quite reserved, quite passive. He, abuses the audio cues a lot and decides to make a decision there and then. Like, I saw it a lot during the Challenger League against Hell, against Garpy. And he's very, very patient. But then again, so is CNZ. He likes to switch his style when required and necessary, depending on who he's actually playing against. But it's going to be very hard to figure out Sirius. But Sirius needs to make sure he's not so passive and reserved that he gives away a lot of the items.
Yeah, I mean, really excited to see how Sirius is going to do here. I think CNZ had some really impressive results over the 13 weeks. However, not impressive enough to be able to hold on there through the whole thing. I mean, definitely some really interesting wins. A win versus Cooler early on, and a win versus Toxic. But outside of that, was taking some maps, but wasn't able to kind of complete the deal. Wasn't able to clean things up a little bit. So there you see CNZ, and let's actually look at how Sirius did throughout the Challenger League as well. I'm curious what you all think, because CNZ, is it going to be short-lived for him here? Sirius absolutely with a chance here, but CNZ fighting for his life to stay in the QPL.
I think it's going to be really, really interesting to see. He had kind of that run in with Hell multiple times, and a former teammate. I mean, Maestro. Can you imagine a Maestro like just EU League? Anyway, sorry. Again, I think it's happening. It could happen. I think it's going to be super interesting to see again what kind of Sirius comes out of the bag, so to speak, because he can play rather emotionally sometimes. If something doesn't go his way, if he doesn't get what he wants out of like a pop rocket in LG, or he feels like maybe he gets hit by something that he shouldn't have gotten hit by, or he gets blindsided, it could be absolute nightmare for him mentally sometimes. We'll see if that affects him. I'm looking forward to seeing how he kind of controls himself in that regard, because again, he can go balls to the wall and hit everything, but against CNZ, I feel like that's not how you want to play, because CNZ is going to be ready for that. He's kind of that base style of play where he could be very defensive if he needs to. So I want to see if kind of he plays into that, or if he can actually overcome that defense with his aggression. If CNZ's going to be ready for it, I'm sure he is. But he has kind of been on the downward trend, but he had that great run, so it goes back and forth in my mind. But I'm just looking forward to seeing how the first map plays out and how the players set the tone.
Yeah, it's like CNZ before. Like, look what happened. He's in a relegation zone, and then all of a sudden he got top six. When his back's against the wall, it's just a complete opposite story. But like he says as well, Sirius does have a kind of similar style to Base, and of course, with Base, it's CNZ's teammate, so I'm sure he's got a huge amount of experience. So Sirius does need to be careful because he knows that CNZ is used to playing that kind of style. But the problem is, how is CNZ going to play? Like, it depends on what maps. Like, for example, Molten Falls was his go-to. He almost won every single time during Stage 4. This time round, he didn't win one single Molten Falls at all, and that was his go-to. So we're not really too sure what's going to happen in terms of the map picks.
Well, a little speculation from both sides, and that's okay. Let's add some detail to this, though, and take a look at the map and champion picks and bans. They might be able to tell us a little bit. I'm going to go to you, 40. Let you analyze what we see here. CNZ, the ninth seed, and Sirius coming in from the challengers. What do you think as we check out these maps and champ picks?
So it looks like Awoken. I don't know how that's going to go, to be honest. That's already off the bat. I feel like that's going to be pretty crazy. I've seen Sirius play on it, and again, it's just relentless aggression from him, in my opinion. Molten Falls, we got Ruins, we got Tower of Koth is always interesting to see. I feel like that plays more into CNZ style. He could play very passive. It looks like Scalebearer can absolutely bull rush his way out of there if he does get into trouble. And then Blood Covenant, the Keel pick, little nuts for me on Sirius's end. But, once we get into these best of fives, the champ pool does have to get a little deeper. Yeah. So it definitely is interesting for me. I don't know, Lethal, what do you think?
I think 3 of those maps are in favour of CNZ. Even he's gone for Molten Falls anyway. I think his best map this stage has been Ruins, but Sirius has chosen that for him already. So CNZ's gone, all right, cheers, mate. I'll have that. I'll let you pick it for me, then go for Tower of Koth. So CNZ might have been practicing on that map quite a lot. We'll have to see. Sirius, I saw him choose Awoken quite a few times during the Challenger League. We'll have to see how things panned out as they've chosen quite a lot of the larger map scale.
Yeah, it is interesting to see Deep Embrace immediately thrown out by Sirius, but then also Tower of Koth picked by CNZ, forcing at least one of those new maps into the pool, which might be smart because CNZ did play several of those maps, obviously, throughout the regulation play as well. But Sirius has a chance to bring it in and knock former challenger winner CNZ out. Want to remind you, CNZ had not only the win, a very close win, it win all 5 games during the Quake World Championships, but then, went on to do pretty well throughout the, the entire weekend. So maybe Sirius will turn the tables and we'll see that, or CNZ will hold on. Either way, we're about to find out, and telling us this story, I'm going to leave it up to you, 40 Lions and Lethal. Take it away.
Always a pleasure. Lethal, how you feeling, man? This is our first set for the day. I think we've both had probably 7 coffees between us, so I think we're ready. How you feeling?
I think we've had enough caffeine. I think there's due to be more later on, I'm sure. But do you know what? I think this is a great matchup. CNZ is Sirius. I think we're not going to see as much high fragging games. Maybe the first map we will, due to the fact it's Awoken. But Molten Falls, Ruins. You know what these maps are like in terms of how everything spans out. I think both of them are going to be very calculated, very methodical. It's going to be a curious game, but I think it's going to be a great one. Don't think we're going to see a clean sweep between these two.
I don't think so either. I really think it might go full 5. I'm looking forward to it. Lethal, if I had to put you on the spot, what do you think? Chat, while he's predicting, throw your predictions in the chat. Let's see what you got as well. But Lethal, I'm putting you on the spot like I always do.
Oh, don't do this to me. You do it to me all the time.
It's my favorite part. I have to.
I think CNZ is still going to take it. It has to be probably about 3-1 or 3-2. Sirius may take a couple maps, but it could swing either way. If Sirius takes that first map and it's his pick anyway, then it could be okay. But the map pick strongly favors CNZ in so many different ways.
That's fair. I think I might lean towards Sirius here. I feel like that aggression might caught CNZ off guard. I don't know. I just got this feeling. I got this feeling that Sirius is going to come out. He's going to grab LG and just shred CNZ 3-4 frags early, and everyone's going to be like, "What the hell just happened?" But surprises happen any given Sunday, and this is the best weekend for Quake action here. Stage 1 finals. Let's just get into it, Lethal. I can't wait any longer. I can't. We're right there. I'm blocking in Sirius. It's going to be close though. It's going to be very, very close. But I think I'm going to lean towards Sirius.
That's interesting because my heart says Sirius, but my brain does say CNZ. It's very, very difficult. It's very tough, but at the same time, CNZ is more than capable of taking this series. It's got all the experience. He plays against his teammate who has a very similar style, and if he doesn't take this, I'm not going to lie to you, mate. I'll be gobsmacked with the situation that occurs. So we'll have to see. But we are going to head into it now. Map 1 will be on Awoken. We're going to see exactly who's going to have the momentum swing going straight into this series. So we'll see what happens as we do start off with CNZ and find out what's going to happen here.
Yeah, can another Maestro player break Quake Pro League here? Slowly but surely, up real estate on the T-Con, just waiting for sound cues. Has the ghost walk if things go horribly, horribly wrong. Vision already popped from Sirius to get that early information, of course. Nice slow start from both players.
Yeah, this is exactly what I expected. Sirius is basically playing the exact same style as he did against Hell in the Challenger League Losers Finals. And he's just having a look around to see what exactly is on offer. He likes to leave traps or try and not give any info in his way at all and try and force out that first mistake from CNZ.
Real exchange there.
So yes, he gets the second one, but it's helpful anyway. He is not railable, but seriously looking to see if he will push on that tri-bolt. He does, but will he try and go for the other? He misses it, and CNZ gets that first frag on the board, 40.
And that's a big one too. You saw Sirius kind of hanging around, trying to get in. He wanted one more, but it cost him his life. CNZ goes up one early. Sirius right back into it. Had a rocket. Heavy's been a little bit of rocket. Him take out a lot. He doesn't feel away the heavy at this point. He's trying to get out and do as much damage as he can. CNZ will capitalize again. The best he can do is get that rail and get out. Now full control going to CNZ. Sirius right now. Sirius and there's the fadeaway rail misses. Things will slow down ever so slightly.
This is not the start Sirius wanted, but CNZ does have that ghost walk if he does contest the next item and needs to get her out there. Sirius trying to keep above him here, but CNZ does get the heavy. Takes a little bit of LG damage, but gets the first rail, misses the second. So he's going to try and go for it again. Sadly, he doesn't. He's just sitting on that mega spot waiting for the next item, which he manages to grab. And now just holding the all-important top mid spot here on Awoken to find out where Sirius is going to go next.
Offer gives him away a lot of LG. There's the ghost walk. He's off the top of the shotgun. He switches places. He's not going to jump pad, not going to land, but the rocket right in his pocket. CNZ goes up 3 very early here. Sirius just needs to find footing. And he's going to not answer on the court. Good LG here, trying to melt CNZ to 14 mega, but that rocket should send him packing. CNZ almost hits that rail. And this is just looking a little rough for Sirius off the bat here.
Yeah, this is not looking good now for Sirius. It's only days yet, only 2.5 minutes been. But already 3-0, and CNZ is really turned on already. But the LG comes out, still doesn't manage to take him down, even after the weapon swap. CNZ is only on 46 HP, tried to contest the heavy, but has the weapons, but hasn't got the stack to back it up. And now, he's going to go down, try and get all the health orbs possible to go back to his default stack and find out exactly where Sirius is. He knows he's still hanging around that mega, has managed to grab the item anyway, and CNZ is the one who needs to back off. Hold top mid again and find out where Sirius is going to turn to in terms of which path.
Good fail, Sirius. Force that after that. Sirius. A little bit of rocket damage away his location. There's 2 good rails, and he should be able to capitalize off this. Stacked about even. We'll get the lower armor, but Mega again goes to CNZ. It's a fantastic rail. Sirius smells blood. Stack's still even, but he needs to find some sort of damage. And he waits, and he just flicks off at the wrong time. Now he's going to have to try and fight with his heavy. It's costing his life yet again here as he drops down, hits the rail, and this should be a frag. He just needs to chase.
29 HP remaining. He does have a ghost walk. So at least he can get away temporarily, but he just realizes that he is railable. He can't take that risk and decides to get away. At least he's in the LG room. He can go for the light and the health orbs if he wants to, but has decides to take the ring arounds and go for the light armor bet instead. But after all that distance he gained, already been railed, 39 HP. It's not looking good here for CNZ, but look at the stack of Sirius. Even though he takes this next fight, he can easily go through and then force out another spawn trap and maybe get a second if he's lucky. But Sirius is just taking his time. He's being patient, having a look around to see if he is pushing around the LG room. CNZ just seen a glimpse of him, but has realised that he's going to have to get that first rail, uses the ghost walk again. But nearly at the halfway mark already here.
It's a good frag from Sirius here. So I'm going to try and whisper my way towards the banana, as is Sirius here. Looking for a little bit more LD. Might catch him out just barely. Misses his good television. Back up. That's going to give him all the data he needs. That's a fantastic rail on the way out. Mega's going to be up shortly, but Sirius looks like he wants to chase this. It could be lucrative here. Good defensive rocket. We should have the frag. He does. That's 2 to 4. Sirius looking more and more in control right now.
Look at the stack of Sirius. After those 2 frags, he's still gunning for him and hasn't been weak enough for CNZ to go for the trade. But Sirius is in a fantastic spot now. 15 seconds until the next Mega. He's going to try and get to position once he finds out exactly where CNZ is going. Got that first rail, so important. Gets the second. CNZ is so weak. Sirius is looking top mid to find out if he's going to go for the lights, and he's not. He's gone straight for the LG, but we're about to pop him through here. He gets 1.
Wow.
CNZ so weak. He's got the Mega. He needs to push through and see if he can at least take him down. And he just realizes he's just on the corner with that rocket. Sirius now comebacks on.
Yeah, he had enough. Oh, what a great rail there through the drive-through window. There's a rocket come up. He wants to finish it right now. Rockets, will they land? And they will. 4 to 4, just like that. Sirius just needed to, I don't know, swap mice maybe, whatever he's into. He probably has 6 or 7 mice on his desk, as we all know and love Sirius. Up the peripherals here. 4 to 4. He's looking to close out here, but he's going to lose out on the Mega. Oh, he barely gets it somehow. Steals it away, but at what cost? LG on LG. Can he survive 22 HP? Almost gets taken out by that rocket here. He runs out of rockets himself and needs to be careful as the fight for heavy won't be much of a fight. He instead gets it, does eat a rocket, almost eats a rail as well. Very close to death, both players here.
This is what I love about Sirius. He's very reserved, but can be very counter-aggressive once he has the upper hand. Goes top mid, gets to light, gets to health orb, gets to Mega 2, and find out exactly where CNZ is going to be. He's realised now the paths that CNZ is taking. He's been doing it repeatedly around that rail area, and Sirius knows exactly what he's up to, slowly downloading him. As his first map goes to its ends, misses the first rail. He's going to see if it goes for the second on the rockets. Misses the tri-bolt. Realizes he's still going top mid with the ghost walk, but he's on the mega spawn. He's going to see if he can at least try and take him down. Every rocket misses. The LG comes out anyway. CNZ has the slightest of advantages. Sirius has picked up the light, but it just picks up the mega too, and still manages to take him down. He was clearly out-aimed there.
It's just incredible. Even with the Mega Series still melting that rocket through the drive-through window, serving up some damage. That was a double patty right there, Lethal. As the rocket damage still raining from below here. Tri-bolt bursting in air. Rail from CNZ will miss. He's down to 25 HP. There's a rocket jump up, and goodbye. Drive-by rocket here. Sirius wants that Mega. Wanted to try and get on to 50. There's the LG from Banana. Sirius needs to be careful now. He is weak. LG on LG, and CNZ gets that frag back rather quickly, and he needed that. So weak.
CNZ had to take that fight. He's only got 2 minutes left, and he knew that some risks was needed to be taken, and he has done successfully, but now he's still pretty weak, almost back to his default stack. Minute 40 left on the clock. CS knows exactly where he is. He has the stack advantage, but will he be able to take him down? Just barely. CNZ somehow, some way manages to take that. CS had this huge stack advantage, and CNZ managed to come out on top of that. But it's such a shame, but it doesn't matter now, as that's in the past. CNZ still got that ghost walk in his back pocket if anything does happen. Picks up the heavy just for life insurance. Is going to go for the flank to see if Sirius is going to come through. He has done, but he's dropped below. Hasn't got the height advantage anymore, but CNZ, sadly that rocket didn't do too much damage. Looked for the rail, just barely misses it at 40.
That's just so unfortunate there. Trying to melt CNZ, he picks up Mega in the nick of time, and then Sirius, as most people would want to do, sacrifice himself for that sweet Nick Booty. There's the rocket though, off the ghost walk, and CNZ goes up one frag with 50 seconds left. Lethal, is this going to be it?
It could well be, depending on how much damage he takes for this heavy. He takes none. Gets it for free, but as I say that, he's been railed from that shotgun area. It looks like he has to give up the Mega in no time, but 30 seconds left. Sirius needs to make an attempt here. Has top mid, knows exactly on his whereabouts. How is he going to approach this? Decides to chase him down. CNZ taking a bit of damage there. Sirius has a slight stack advantage, not after that amount of damage he's taken through the telly. As CNZ now also has the ghost walk. He needs to try and take him down in the next 10 seconds, or else it'll literally be game over for the first map for Sirius. But as you saw that, he tried to rocket jump, wasn't successful. and he's got the Ghost Walk anyway. It is going to be over, and CNZ takes that first map, even after what happened with the comeback with Sirius.
And that one hurts. That is very, very close. I think that's going to be very indicative of how this entire series is going to go, Lethal. But that one is a heartbreaker for Sirius. He had it and just lost control. That LG fight at Mega turned the tide. Unfortunate, just unfortunate. I don't know if the rocket jumps really came back to haunt him. If he would have made it to T-Con or up there, it's still a matter of 10, 12 seconds left with Ghost Walk up. It's kind of at that point just a moot point. But very, very close game on Awoken from these two, and I can't wait to watch the rest of the set. This is going to be intense.
Yeah, it's going to be incredible. You are right, though, about that rocket jump. Even if he made it, he can use the Ghost Walk. He's probably going to have like 2 or 3 seconds to try and take him down. And even then, he's got to decide, which way he's actually taken. And even then, it's going to be unlikely because of the situation you're going to be in, especially in that area. But very good from Sirius on the first map. CNZ was down 4-0. Sirius changed his style and just thought, do you know what? I'm just going to go all out aggressive, keep that top mid control, try and work on his audio cues like he has done in the past, and managed to work it. It's just a shame that one instance around Mega, he had such a huge stack and still lost, even though he tried to rocket CNZ afterwards. It was such a shame, a real shame, really. He's been kicking himself a little bit, but now he's got to try and reset his mentality going into map number 2.
I think it's something to not really be. I mean, you're going to kick yourself, right? You always want to be up a map. You want to have advantage, but I don't think he has anything to really worry about. I mean, a very, very close game. He knows his mechanics are solid aside from a few missed rocket jumps, and really it just came down to this amazing play from CNZ. The Ghost Walk just nets him the frag pretty much for free as he gets the pounce on him. But I think Sirius doesn't really have too much to worry about. He just needs to, like you said, kind of focus, brush that off. It is unfortunate he dropped that first one, but still very, very close. And I think he could turn this around rather easily. Although going into Molten Falls, we know how good CNZ is. It is going to be difficult, but I wouldn't, Sirius should not be in panic mode right now.
I wouldn't be at all. Sirius, it looks like he did have more map presence with the extra 400 damage. CNZ had a little bit more, item control here and there, but CNZ really fell off after the first few minutes. But Sirius just decided to completely change his style. A style I've not really seen that often. It's actually quite rare. He likes to be quite patient and reserved, like I mentioned earlier, but he can just switch it. He can just be counter-aggressive. Maybe it's just that map, we don't know. But on Molten Falls, we'll have to see. We've seen CNZ play so much Molten Falls. He kind of made the meta what it is today, and then everyone else kind of learned and kind of extracted like how to actually try and play Molten Falls. He just learned it quite early on. It used to be his ace in the hole. It hasn't been this stage, but it could save his backside going into this next map.
We'll see. We'll see how it plays out, but I think you're right. As mentioned previously, it's going to be about adaptation, especially mid-game. How is your opponent playing? Can you adapt in the nick of time and change up whatever you need to really to overcome that? As we've seen time and time again, Rafa is kind of the master at that, but right now between these two, I think Sirius might need to take a page out of Rafa's book and kind of adapt depending on how CNZ wants to start this one. This is kind of his home ground, but we'll see if Sirius wants to rip it out of his hands. We'll see.
That's the problem with defensive players. It's the fact that they're kind of like in purgatory where, against players who can't really adapt that well, they've got a massive advantage. But, if they're playing against the Rafa, the Cooler, the Cypher, the ones who can adapt so well, it's just unheard of, then it is a real struggle for them. They have to play completely different, a lot more unorthodox. So it has its advantages and disadvantages. Sometimes it does actually keep him in the Pro League, like Base or Dewey, those kind of players, sometimes even Dramas. We'll have to see as we go into Molten Falls now, map number 2, to see if CNZ will continue his win streak or Sirius can try and at least equalize this to 1-1.
Let's get into it. Map number 2. Chat, get hype. Lock in your predictions. I think I'm going to back to LG. Rocket right into the chest right off the bat for Sirius as he wants to try and defend that rail as much as he can, but he's going to back off towards the heavy. Good delay. Split items, about 14 seconds. It's going to open up a lot of opportunity for Sirius here to attack the Mega.
Top shotgun on this map is absolutely huge. It's fired, so even if you have the advantage and don't actually hit your shots, it's quite easy to get away and go towards the Mega or the rail, depending on the circumstances of what path your opponent is going to take. Sirius still playing patiently here. Gets the first rail. He's going to see if he drops down, which he has done. Gets the second rail. That was beautiful stuff as he takes that heavy, but the Mega is coming up in the next 15 seconds. The question is Sirius going to actually try and approach this? It looks like he will. But if he takes some damage from these rockets, he may not. But the first frag could come in here. The Orb did a little bit of damage, but he is taking his health as well as taking them out of LG damage. But Sirius is like, no way, I'm going to get away from this for now and try and fight for another day.
Yeah, lucky to be alive there, as he still doesn't have rockets. Missing with that rail, this could be really bad. He just has really shotgun to defend a little bit of LG. Heavy's going to go to CNZ. He needs to back away and try and get in on these rockets. Now's his opportunity, but CNZ knows, and he's going to try and cut him off. There it is. He does sneak in there, but oh, it costs him a frag, and that's brutal, man. You need a rocket here to work right off the bat. But CNZ's just everywhere Sirius wants to be right now.
LG fight comes in, Anarchy. The inject, CNZ still continuing to push on forwards. Both of them have very similar stacks. CNZ maybe just the slightest of advantages. Heavy is up, managed to get it though, completely different storyline here. As CNZ has the height advantage, he's managed to re-heal and is trying to find out exactly where Sirius has gone. He's thinking maybe he's actually tried to contest a Mega in just a few seconds, but looks like he hasn't. He may get it for free here, or the Sirius drops down to try and rail him, which looks like he isn't going to. Mega has been picked up for CNZ. Missed rocket jump, doesn't matter though. Light will back him up momentarily, and we're going to see if this next engagement does happen as Sirius gets the first rail. Is he going to push him for this Heavy? Misses the second, that was so important, but CNZ does have the inject as well as Sirius gets away, and we're back to square one.
He almost gets CNZ with those rockets. A little shaky there, but still gets frag 2-0 into the Mega. You need to be really careful. Sirius just trying to shotty him right off the spawn, but Pippin's nowhere to be found here. Does get decent damage. He's not going to rotate back. Then is Heavy. 1 second, he's not going to be able to put him up on the fight regardless. Fearless, but maybe a bit foolish here, but he does do fantastic damage. He needs to keep it up and try and capitalize off that since he has him. Impact will be up soon, especially after those files, and just like that, seeing that metal there again. It's got to be so frustrating for Sirius, getting so close. He does gain control of the Mega. That's going to be huge. Fantastic setup because of Fire Orb, and there it is. Finally gets the frag on the board.
Yeah, it must have been frustrating for Sirius. But now, gets the first frag on the board. Hasn't really got much HP, so he's going to really struggle to try and contest this next item. The Mega will be coming up very shortly. Knows exactly on the location where CNZ is, but that is not a good start. He is available, but decides to get the LG out anyway. Almost managed to take that, but CNZ, it doesn't matter. The damage has been done. Picks up the Mega, has the injectors back up in this next engagement. The LG's come through, and looks like CNZ's going to use the injector anyway, but still loses that fight. Sirius with the second frag, but needs to re-heal quick. Sirius. Still holding top shotgun, waiting for him to push through. Misses the first rail, misses the second as well. He may have to back off at some point. CNZ has got a much bigger stack. Sirius is still holding around the rocket area to see if he has flanked around from LG, but it looks like he hasn't. But it will find him around top mid, but actually CNZ is the one who takes that. Inject comes through, and now he's going to go straight to the rail, and he's going to find Sirius straight there waiting for him. But will Sirius be able to take it down? He's left on 8 HP. Trying to re-heal as quick as he can, but the Mega is up. Sirius has realised that CNZ is not going to try and contest it. Has gone through the telly to get ready for the next Heavy coming in the next couple of seconds, but CNZ, look at the HP, only on 58. There's no way he can try and go for this or even make any attempt to stop this, but Sirius is taking the right path to try and catch up to CNZ here. As the next engagement comes in, Sirius now, third frag, only 2 frags behind CNZ now. Let's see what he can do to try and come back.
Trying to establish control here as Mega goes to him. 10 seconds to the Heavy. He does have a dire orb if he wants to close the gap. I think he heard the jump pad, but looks like he's going to concede Heavy and just wait and try and set a trap here for CNZ. 5:30 through. Still plenty of time as he hears the sound cue, and he should know exactly the timing on the next round of Heavy.
Look at the patience from both of these players. We mentioned it before the series even began. Both of them are very calculated and methodical on their approach to certain fights here. Stacks are still very similar, but it's CNZ with the advantage in terms of map control. If he gets his first rail, And Sears will be in a great spot, but it looks like he did manage to miss that. But Mr. Rocket Bear, the orb comes through. He's going to push straight in to see if he can try and clean him up. He just manages to get that rail before he goes round the corner. Sirius is looking very, very good. And even after that engagement, his stack is still looking very healthy. Looks like CNZ isn't going to contest the Mega. Sirius will get it for free and needs to chase him down. Even though he's got 3.5 minutes left, we know what Molten Falls can be like. It's be very difficult to catch up on your opponent, but it's taking only a small amount of damage there. But at least Sirius has got the map advantage.
And deals pretty good damage even with that solo rocket. He saw the inject as well, so he should know that the time to attack is now. He's going to wait on the 50 shard, and he wants the Mega immediately after. CNZ trying to set up some damage. This could be a good trap, but CNZ way too wise. Back off and maybe deal damage from afar. So 3 minutes left. Might be slowly getting into that defense mode of I'm Anarchy, I might have inject soon, I could probably run, but it's supposed to call lethal. Frag is always risky to do.
It really is indeed. We know how good CNZ can be on this map. He hasn't been this stage, but it's kind of shown a little bit more different in comparison to what we've seen in previous months. But Sirius still trying to charge him, trying to catch him. But he needs to leave traps. He's very good at leaving traps and creating these big plays. And we need to see some of that now. He's only got 2 minutes 20 left on the clock. He hits the first one, misses the second. It could be a little bit too much here for me. And still manages, I don't know how he's even still alive after that next and still rails him. He manages to tie things up. CNZ should have fragged him there, but he didn't. That's unbelievable. And again with the LG, and then cleans him up and now takes the lead.
This is bonkers right now, and he's going to get the Mega 2. CNZ didn't expect him there at all. Behind that sweet beam of electricity, 6-5, 2 minutes left, Sirius in the lead, and he should be able to get it on the 10. 50 LG, CNZ needs to be careful or to use the impact. He misses the trail, there's the fire orb, and there's the rocket, and Sirius is taking complete control.
Oh, look at this. CNZ got an awful spawn there. He had to get away straight away, but that first rail hit, tried to look for the second. He made the right play, made the right assumption where he was going to go. He's going to burn that light just to be a bit of a nuisance to CNZ, but I don't know how he's going to catch up here. 2 of the lights are already gone. He's basically taking the Mega. Gets another rail. This is ridiculous. Sirius is looking so good right now. Completely night and day in comparison to what we saw in the first map. And even though he picks up the heavy and burns it, it's just not enough. If CNZ won that fight earlier, and he would have had a 2-frag advantage, and with Anarchy, he most certainly would have made sure to keep himself on his toes and keep away from Sirius. But I would not have expected Sirius now to be in a 3-frag lead with 50 seconds left.
As you mentioned, that fight earlier comes down to 2 HP. 2 HP is the difference right now for this map. Sirius essentially stole this map with 2 HP. If the results looks like they will possibly get it to top to attack. Rocket onslaught is not enough. Sirius stays alive again. That's going to LG on LG. CNZ is going to grab that frag, inject for a little bit of speed, but with 30 seconds, 3 frags up, I think Sirius should be able to hug the ropes and take this one.
He certainly will indeed. 20 seconds left. CNZ picks up the Mega, but there's nowhere near enough time as CNZ. Even though he had a very good start, very similar to the first map, Sirius will be the one who takes it, almost gets cleaned up, but doesn't matter, it's on 1 HP, and that's done and dusted. That was a real shame. That was such a huge turnaround. I cannot believe he managed to hide behind that pillar. If he had the rockets or something, he'd just at least try and clean up, it would have been a different story entirely. Maybe he didn't realize how weak he actually was, but for Sirius to keep very calm, very cool-headed there in that one engagement, that actually won him the map.
Yeah, not bad at all. Didn't really panic. 2 HP going to be the deciding factor in my mind for that, and that's absolutely incredible. But CNZ played that really well. It's just unfortunate that fight didn't go his way, and that fight, that 2 HP, turned the tide in Sirius' favor.
Yeah, I just couldn't believe it. I think I was literally holding onto my chair, wondering what on earth was going to happen next. I just made the assumption that CNZ was going to take that, but that was ridiculous. You know, he's going to be the one kicking himself now, but things have tied up 1-1, you know. That's the thing with CNZ, like Molten Falls is his go-to map maybe 4 or 5 months ago, but the last few months he's not won a single map on Molten Falls, and it's continued even against a player like Sirius. But Sirius's aggression is very, very good. We said that he likes to create his plays, leave these traps, and he did. He made sure to try and catch CNZ off guard. He did it on numerous occasions, and is looking very, very good. But the momentum has definitely swung in Sirius's favor here.
Definitely huge confidence boost. Again, after that first map, he didn't really have anything to worry about. It was just minor errors that cost him. He fixed those and he came out on top. Again, another close game. Like I said, it's going to be probably neck and neck the whole series through Lethal. I want to see it go to 5 because I'm selfish and I love Quake. But
I'm
we'll
selfish
see.
too.
Maybe Sirius takes this momentum and takes it in the next 2. We'll see. We got Ruins on the way and then Tower. And I think Blood Covenant is going to be the last one. So we'll see if we go all 5. I think it might, but CNZ's going to be a little upset at that for sure.
Well, do you know what? I'm quite serious as well, 40. If it goes to map 5, I'll be I'll be a very happy man. But if you saw there, the amount of damage he did with that rail against CNZ's Anarchy as well, like 48%, that's still very good for such a light champion, and considering the speed he was going at most of the time. And again, more damage, a lot more map presence, even though CNZ had probably a bit more possession in terms of the map control and where he was positioned too. But yeah, Sirius, he took the right paths, a lot more unorthodox this time round, but CNZ has a little bit more to work on, but I'm sure the pressure's on for him. He's going to be panicking a little bit.
Yeah, panic might be a strong word. I think CNZ's going to kick himself, but I think he's been here before. He kind of knows what he has to do. Again, he had that reverse sweep on Garpy, so in the back of his mind, he's been able to dig himself out of holes. And tied 1-1 isn't the worst place to be. Losing your map always feels bad, but I don't think it's panic mode yet for CNZ either. If he drops this one, I think it's red alert time for sure, but we'll see how this one goes. Ruins of Sarnath could turn into Ruins of Serbia if Sirius starts popping off, but it's all up to CNZ and how he wants to try and dictate the pace once again.
Yeah, it will dictate the pace indeed. But yeah, CNZ now, we'll have to see what he can come up with here coming up on Ruins. Now, we've seen what he's like, we know what he can do, we know he changes his style depending on the circumstances during the first half of the game. But Sirius, he played a lot more how he wants to play. He didn't seem as uncomfortable as he was before. He likes to play when he's got the lead and some kind of advantage. When he hasn't got the lead, he hasn't got the advantage, he has to force himself to play out of his comfort zone. We've seen it enough times on so many occasions. And he's done it 2 maps in a row now, We're going to see like an early lead advantage on Sirius, we'll have to see.
We'll see. We'll see. I'm sure he wants to come out and try and get those quick frags, especially around the LG if he can get the spawn to defend it. Sirius, I mean, no slouch with the LG as we've seen. He likes to use that weapon a lot in Elmer's people. But we'll see, Lethal. Why don't we get into it and see if my mustache causes more interference here on Ruin map number 3. As I desperately try and figure out what's going on. Sirius versus CNZ. Who is going to take the lead in the series?
Not too much of a surprise having the eyes in for CNZ. We know how much of a huge advantage it can be, especially going for that heavy. Both players just waiting for each other to make that first mistake, just trying to bait something out. But oh, he didn't want to do that, but brings the tie out anyway, just to feed himself some information. And he's realised that CNZ is just daring for him to come out. This is the first rail that would have been so important, possibly that first frag. CNZ has picked up the Megas, waiting to see exactly where Sirius is going to go. But oh, the rocket caught him off guard just a bit. May get the heavy anyway, but CNZ is railable. He needs to be careful when he goes for this light. Sirius takes him down, and he's the one who gets the first frag on the board.
Yeah, and CNZ thought he was safe there. He's going to drop down and he's going to get fragged again early. Sirius setting the tone very quickly here. And yeah, a bit precarious as to why CNZ thought that the rail was going to be free. Saw Sirius dip down and Sirius pop right back up for some free rail. Where it might be a bit of a nuisance here. Rocket raining down the huge damage in the LT and the heavy pickup as well. Everything is going Sirius' way right now.
He's just loving life at this point. It's pretty much his playground. 1.5 minutes gone and already 3 frags have already taken place. Sirius, lovely rocket there, 86. He's going to possibly try and chase him down. He's just baiting him to see if he will pick up the light. Prioritize the Mega, completely understandable. Sirius going to push straight in. CNZ needed that rail earlier, but he's just taking all the lights. It's not looking good here for CNZ. He's just trying to find a way to even get himself back in this match. But Sirius is holding the key, taking all the lights, just taking all the items here. He's going to try and contest the Mega, but Sirius is already there. He's just ignoring the turret. He's going to try and dodge it at the same time. Rocket's looking very good, but it's just not enough. The turret just clean up here. CNZ only on 13 HP. Going to go for the Mega. It's just not there. Just missed out on the timing. Sirius is taking a huge amount of damage there, waiting for him to go across, but CNZ just missed out, but prioritizes the Heavy instead.
What a rail by Sirius there on his way out. And another one. Unbelievable. Sirius popping off right now. 80% rail.
That is actually absurd. Yeah, 80%. It's 5, 10, hit 8. And on the other side, you see CNZ hasn't barely touched the rail as of yet. But look at the map presence. Sirius has doubled CNZ's damage, but he's pushed straight through with the rockets anyway. The Heavy comes up. Sirius doesn't get it, sadly. CNZ will. But what is CNZ going to do next? We have to find out. As he's going to try and push that Mega. It's coming up in the next 8 seconds. CNZ is trying to find out exactly where it could be, why he's not contesting it as of yet. Sirius may crop up here, get the tri-bolt. Did a tickle of damage. Oh, beautiful rocket, but just didn't do enough. So much LG damage from CNZ is going to try and push in here. Surely Sirius is not going to take this. As it was such a disadvantage. Sirius is so weak here. Oh, the turret took him down. That's not what you wanted to see. And there's another turret in his back pocket if that one does get taken down later on.
Sirius preemptively popping those dual wields. Thought that CNZ was going to go through the courtyard towards the Mega, but no dice. So there goes the dual wield for Sirius. And you kind of see these overcommitments, Lethal, where he's just not willing to back down to the fight.
Yeah, it's kind of what we saw from Tox earlier. There was some engagements he forced himself in, but then just had no reason to try and at least try and get away. Like, he never gave himself an opportunity to even flank around. But that was a beautiful rail there from Sirius. Up 5-3. He's got a 2 frag lead. It's a large margin for a map like Ruins. We'll have to see what paths Sirius is going to take. It's too early days yet to run away. He needs to continue contesting these items. Mega has been taken for CNZ, but what about the Heavy? That's coming up in the next 5 seconds. Sirius has decided to not go for it. Changes his mind.
Sirius in and out, does eat a rail, but does deal some rail damage as well. He's careful on CNZ. Beautiful rail to finish that off. He wasn't letting that one get away at all.
He wasn't, no. He went for that Heavy at the very last second, takes another rail, but it doesn't matter. Does pick up the Mega. Hasn't got any armor as of yet, but it's come up in the next 5 seconds. CNZ got a huge advantage picking up this next item. Sirius needs to be very careful though. He knows that he's going to pick it up. He knows he's going to contest it. He's at a much bigger advantage. But look at this though. Sirius waiting to see if he would come up on that staircase, and he has done. He has got the top as well. Beautiful LG from CNZ. Sirius looked to be on a better state, but CNZ was the one who managed to take him down with a much better aim towards his last few seconds with the LG.
Just like that, tied at 5, halfway through. He'll get LG to get in the back wheel top. Sirius has the position. He doesn't want to let this go, but he doesn't want to wait too long because it's on the maybe even get some rockets. CNZ looks like he's trying to good Timmy the turret there, kind of delay him ever so gently. But doing this, he drops down. He does hit a great rail on the way down. He could have tried to aggress off that, but instead he'll take the damage, give up the Mega, and try and just cycle these items.
CNZ waiting to see exactly where Sirius is going to go. Picks up the Heavy, left the turret down there in case it does contest for it later on as well as just then. Decides to back away. Hasn't got any rockets, so can't really force out a proper engagement. Needs to try and keep away from those narrow corridors if he can. The LG is looking beautiful here from CNZ. Sirius is in an awful spot, but decides to stand firm, stand strong, but it actually left the Mega, which I'm gobsmacked about. Decides to go for the flank. Very unorthodox. CNZ did not expect that at all. And look at this now. Sirius had the Megas, picked up the light too, so there's not really too much going round for CNZ. As he picks up the Heavy anyway. Sirius now misses the first rail, wants to see if he can try and look for the flank, but doesn't take the path that CNZ expected. But will he be able to pull him off here with DLG? He does. Takes only a sprinkle lot of damage there. Looking to find out where he's going to go. CNZ gets the first rail, managed to pick up the light. Huge stack advantage in favour. Still 3 minutes left. And this time game goes for the next one, but surely this is going to be his. The first one didn't do too much damage, but the second one did. He was left on only 2 HP, but there's still plenty of time for Sirius, depending on what he wants to do here. As he's portaled through, gets the rail, 12 HP, and has been taken down again, and tied things up once more as he's picked up the Mega, and now is on the hunt to find out exactly where CNZ is going to go. We know full well that turret down there went for the heavy earlier and needs to see exactly what he wants to do next. Still taking his time, still finding his rockets to make sure he keeps him at bay. Sirius picks up the Mega anyway. There wasn't really too much contesting from CNZ. Was hoping he goes up the pad. And now Sirius is just playing very patiently. Both these players like this style to decide exactly what they want to do here. And now he's going to try and go for the flame. But Sirius, I don't think he even expected it. He goes so fast here. He's going to try and go for that Mega if he can. Still 5 more seconds. He needs to push in now. And it looks like he does back away. Only slightly, but he's trying to see if Sirius does push in. But it looks like he will be able to get it. But the heavy has already appeared. Not really too much segregation from both these items. But it doesn't matter. Sirius is still on a very healthy stack, and so is CNZ. But I don't think expect him to even come through again from there. The LG, beautiful from Sirius. Is he going to have to do additional damage here? He's trying to try and get that rail if he can. Hits the first one. Will he get the second? He hasn't gone for it as of yet. Picks up the light. He's going to go back as the Mega will be up in the next 5 seconds. And it looks like CNZ has said, no, I'm going to back away for now. I'm just going to prioritize the heavy and set. But Sirius has left the Mega on purpose. Look at this, trying to hold the angle. He's realised that it looks like CNZ is just going to hold that left side and not give Sirius the angle is so desperately needed. Has the height advantage. Still waiting to see exactly what he wants to do, but it doesn't matter now as Sirius still looking pretty healthy. 30 seconds left and we could be heading into this sudden death.
I was going to say, how sudden is it going to be lethal as that rocket will just doesn't really want to contest, doesn't want to commit to the heavy at all. He doesn't want to deal some damage on the way out. He hears the pickup, but he knows that it's accessible down there, especially with Timmy ready to pop off. So instead, he's going to play for the Mega. CNZ from down below may get some rocket damage through the grate here. And that would be absolutely great as pickup very swift. And yep, sudden death it is.
Patience from these two. Trying to listen out for any audio cues. We could be in for a long road here on this map. As both these players are just trying to get at least the smallest amount of damage done to put each other at bay, but it doesn't matter. Sirius finally gets to heavy after CNZ has been contesting it and actually prioritizing it the entire time. It's been a while, but CNZ is on the back foot, only slightly. Picks up the Mega and is going to wait to see exactly where Sirius is going to go. But Sirius is the one with the map advantage and the height advantage here.
And you can see Sirius just waiting for the perfect trap. All he needs is 1 or 2 good rockets, and he knows this one's in the bag. He's going to drop down and try and deal some damage. He knows it's somewhere around here, and that rocket will give him away. But heavy pickup still goes to ZNZ, regardless of the information. Sirius needs to try and figure out where he wants to position for this Mega. And again, he's trying to hug this wall and set the trap. There's the LT that started off the rocket from CNZ. The second one will land and send Sirius flying off. And that's unfortunate, but CNZ didn't want to follow up on it. He didn't know that he hit him directly and knocked him off the platform. So Mega still goes Sirius, and we're still in this stalemate of items being traded.
If it went for that last rocket, it could be an entirely different story. Take a small amount of damage from the rocket, taking the rail as well. Gets away with the heavy, but look at this. Sirius is just creeping up on him, hoping he can catch him off guard, and he has done. The LG is going to try and clean up if he can. Surely this is it. Yes, it is. And Sirius is the one who takes the map on Ruins, map number 3. And Sirius, he's the one with the series advantage here. Could we see another new, fresh face in the Pro League?
One step closer to the Maestro takeover as that damn eyeball, Lethal. The jumping rail over the top, right in the retinas. That was Really close game, just like the rest of them. That was fantastic play from Sirius, keeping his head in the game. A little bit unfortunate for CNZ getting caught out, but Sirius played it perfectly.
He could have easily just jumped into him and try and catch him off guard, but he was walking. CNZ was even being a little bit patient up that staircase to see if he could hear anything. He was like, okay, I think I'm safe. And maybe I can go for that health bubble and then push through and go for the light afterwards, possibly in the courtyard. But Sirius was so patient with that play. He knew that as soon as he goes on that eyeball, or as soon as he goes on that staircase, straight away, got him. And literally, that's exactly what happened. He could use the LG, didn't matter too much, and just relied on his track and aim for that last rail shot. And that was such a huge play. It was a shame CNZ did so well with the pass and flanks he was making, try and get himself back in that game. And he contested the heavy so well, but it just was not enough for him.
Just really good rails to start off the game, too, for Sirius to get that kind of early lead. He was hitting 80% rail at a time. Of course, drops into Timmy the Turret. You never want to see that happen, but I really like the way that he kind of dictated the pace. But then CNZ did a great job of kind of coming back and saying, okay, I'm going to, establish control. I'm going to slow it down. And then we saw that sudden death go Sirius's way. But I think both players are playing out of their minds right now. I think that's why we're going to get all 5 like I was hoping. And I think CNZ bounces back on Tower of Koth. I think this one's going to be a little bit crazier, probably even more slow. But I'm looking forward to it, and hopefully CNZ can bounce back and send us to 5. Because again, I'm selfish, Lethal. I want to see as much Quake as possible. So
You're just a selfish man, aren't you? Look at
I'm
the
terrible.
damage. Please look at the damage. Again, a huge amount of map presence. Nearly 1,300 damage more. And look at the rails. 65% for Sirius over the 47% over CNZ. That is just such a huge feat. Doesn't matter what champion it is. It's my word. Don't know what's going to happen here. If Sirius continues to play like he is, CNZ could be out. Because you've got to remember, CNZ has been... Ruins has been one of his better maps this stage. Probably one of his best maps, actually, outside of Molten Falls, even though he's not won one during this stage. And CNZ's probably scratching his thinking, what can he do? Tower of Koth isn't exactly random. I wouldn't even say the meta has been fully established as of yet, but still a little bit more experience is needed, at least in a few more months, to see exactly how Tower of Koth is properly played for all these players. So could be a bit of an element of RNG here going into this, and we'll have to see what Sirius can do. Can he actually take this series 3-1, or can CNZ even come back? What do you think, Foy?
I think there is a little bit of, unknown with Tower of Koth, of course. You can't really tell how long these players have been practicing. Hopefully they got reps on it, but there's a lot that hasn't been established, as you said. So I think it's going to be very interesting. This might go Sirius's way just because of that. This could be the map where he takes it 3-1 and kind of catches CNZ by surprise with things that he didn't even expect. If somehow CNZ can get this one, kind of maybe get 2 frags and just play that heavily defensive style, we're going to go into Blood Covenant a lot more natural, been around forever, and I think maybe it sways back towards CNZ. I'm still going to stick with Sirius in 5, but we'll see. We'll see how this one plays out. This could be the one that tips Sirius into the Pro League.
Yeah, I think my prediction is going to be wrong. I'm getting this really odd feeling.
Don't you back down now. How dare you? All right,
well,
have faith. Believe in yourself.
What can I do?
Believe in your dreams, damn it. All right? Lethal, I believe in you. I believe in my prediction more, but I believe in you too.
You have more faith in your own. See, you are selfish.
A little bit. Just a little bit. With a mustache like this, how can I not be?
Yeah, I don't think I can grow one as good as you, but maybe I might try one day. We'll have to see.
Someone will Photoshop it out there. You don't have to grow anything. It'll be fine.
maybe. But yeah, it's not looking good. Like, if you was on the back foot, like, if you was in his position in a best of 5, you're down 2-1, and you're playing on a map where maybe not fully comfortable, but then again, I wouldn't say it's more about RNG or luck. It's just that it's not been played enough to be fully established on what you should exactly be doing on that map. It's still new-ish, still quite recent, so CNZ is probably not feeling the best, but like you said before, at the last Great World Championships, he came back from 2-0 down and reverse sweep Garpy, didn't he? So it's more than able to actually do it here. But will Sirius be another new fresh face in the Pro League, or CNZ can bounce back and take us to a map number 5? We'll have to see as he starts off with Sirius.
This could be it. It could be an almost all Maestro E league here. The fantastic rail right off the bat. Sirius trying to start off with a bang, just like he did on Ruins. 2 quick rails. CNZ has to be careful here. Does have the bull rush if he wants to get the hell out of dodge. Sirius slows it down now again. Hard cap, and there it is. Wow. Right off the bat, nails to the face. The bull rush from that close won't do that much damage. He comes flying in that well, just in the nick of time for the heavy. The Intergalactic Warlord says, that's mine. Get off me, and ties it back to 1.
Serious. He loves to play up high. Normally, he stands around the top heavy or the top pillars here above the rail. He stands there. It's one of his most common spots. And against a champion like Scalebearer, especially with the ball rush, I think it's going to be more than acceptable to have a huge advantage and try and hold that area. But CNZ is actually covering that spot. Gets a nice rail there. Picks up the light. He's going to find out exactly what he wants to do next. Seriously, drop down for the heavy. CNZ needs to try and get away, but it's not really as weak as we expected from that last rocket. Picks up the Mega, manages to get away, and look at the stack advantage from CNZ. It's remarkable, and look at this. I mentioned it earlier. Serious loves to stand on that top spot, around that top heavy, around that top rail. Gets the first rail. We'll have to see if he gets the second one, depending on if CNZ goes for the flank.
And this isn't a bad strategy, playing slow, just chipping away with rail, especially against a scale bearer, especially on a map like this where you have all these really long angles to try and rail from. There's one from CNZ missed. Serious won't miss on his retaliation there. A nice volley as he grabs the Mega, and again, CNZ missing out. He's got to start stringing together these rails if he wants to come out on top and keep his, well, QPL life on line here as the LG comes out in the bull rush too late, and the LG just melts him there. Serious taking a 1 frag lead, 2 minutes in, and a clean heavy pickup to add to the stack.
I was so worried for Serious when he had the LG out already. If he switched weapon and go back to the rockets, it could have been a little bit better, but at the same time, he's going to take so much damage from CNZ, so that's good LG play from Serious, but just taking advantage here, just looking around to see where CNZ could be. It's not looking too good. Serious with the advantage, got the map control. He's waiting for the heavy coming up in the next few seconds. He's going to find out and see if CNZ does push up, but CNZ doesn't know where Serious is. Gets to heavy, and look at the stack difference in comparison. It's not looking good here in these opening minutes, but CNZ just playing it very patiently. He knows he needs to get at least 1 or 2 rails for the chip damage in order to try and take any fights or any engagements.
It's a good rail from CNZ, but Serious has all of the items to work with to restack. 6 seconds to the heavy, depending on the path for Serious. He might be able to deal some damage here. He's playing very slow. Looks like he's willing to concede. Maybe do some surprise damage on the way out here. Here's that Warlord stomping around, just missing out on a rail again. CNZ needs to start landing these. That one was a bit of a flick, as he's only hitting 22% compared to 71% for Serious. And I realize that Scale's a thick boy, a little bit easier to hit, but CNZ wants to stay alive. He's got to start hitting him, and that's a good start there as players trade. CNZ, of course, with a massive stack advantage. There's another one in the bull rush, and the peeker can't save you no matter how big it is. CNZ with the bull rush gets the frag, ties it at 2, has a clean heavy, shotgun to the face. Can Serious survive? No, but he does decent damage on his way out.
Yeah, I was going to say, he took a huge amount of damage there, but comes in with the LG, gets the 3rd frag on the board. Serious back onto one of his favourite positions. Goes in for the light, but I don't think he expects him to be at the telly. Maybe heard him as before he went through, but CNZ is the one who wins that bout. Gets the Mega and the light straight afterwards. That's a great way to trade, and Serious is going to be able to trade off here as he's waiting for the heavy patiently. Goes for it. Oh, it looks like CNZ just managed to bag that and increases his lead 5-3. And now, only 5.5 minutes left on the clock as CNZ needs to try and find some light shards if he can and go back to that default stack, which he has done.
And the bull rush is locked and loaded again. Serious will grab the 50 shard and have a decent stack to work with here, but Mega will go to CNZ. That's never a good thing, as you have to deal with a scale bear and that massive stack and the bull rush, and it looks like heavy's going to go his way. A good rocket from Serious and a good rail on the way out to even it back up. Very, very important damage there from Serious. He needs to try and hit those rails as much as he can and make sure that no items go for free towards Serious, or CNZ, excuse me, as Serious takes a rail there. Does have a 50 to work with. Drops down. Good rocket. The LG2's catching CNZ off guard, but again, this flick rail, CNZ really starting to hit these rails, and that's going to be huge.
Serious is trying to chase him if he can from that bull rush. But Serious is looking very healthy in terms of stack. CNZ trying to heal up. Has realised where he could be. Oh, the peak comes out, but it's a bit too late. What is going on here? 49 HP left. The CNZ picks up the light, but needs to try and contest this Mega if he can. But it looks like Serious has got other ideas, but taking way too much damage. Nice clean rail there. gets the Mega, gets the Light, and it's not looking too good for Sirius. Still got plenty of time to get these 4 frags back, but needs to do a better job contesting his item. What's he trying to do? Gets the Heavy anyway, but CNZ, he was missing so many rails, but now is cleanly hitting them. With 4 minutes left, it's not looking too good for Sirius, and you did say, 40, but, you know, could be a map 5. It looks like it could be going that way.
Could be a map 5, and you got to wonder, is it really going to go the way of Sirius? Keel on Blood Covenant is kind of a crazy pick. I've seen crazy things happen. We all have at the Quake Pro League, but still 4 minutes, just under 4 minutes here for Sirius to get 5 frags to tie it and send it back into sudden death. So not quite cooked yet, Lethal, but looking more and more dire here. CNZ taking full control, has the bull rush. His stack a little weak right now, but with a 5 frag lead, I think he's feeling pretty good about it.
This is the problem with this map. It's the fact that due to its verticality, it's very easy to hear down exactly on the audio cues of where your opponent could be. So it looks like CNZ is already playing it very, very safe, very passive, but it might not be enough. The last rocket just wasn't enough. CNZ has been taken down, but Sirius has more than enough stack to charge, try and take him down and try and close this gap between both of these players. He's trying to find him, but will he go for the Mega? No, he will not. It looks like Sirius is going to prioritize the Heavy. Completely understandable. But now what's CNZ's game plan? Is he going to try and back away? Is he going to continue to contest these items? We'll have to find out, because he's only got a few minutes left to try and hold on to.
There's still time, Lethal. There's always still time. There's the rail. As that Scale Bear was flying through the air, taking the damage, but look at that stack, still huge. Sirius needs more damage. Has the Peeker locked and loaded if he needs it, as he misses that rail. Very, very close. He needs to grab this Mega, as he will. It looks like CNZ will get in on the Heavy, and this is just going to make it so much harder. Every item that goes his way, Sirius has to chew through so much more of a stack, and he's fighting the time now. Just over 2 minutes to get 4 frags on a map that's pretty gigantic. And with defensive rockets hit and run like that, it's just going to be more and more frustrating. So Sirius has to turn up the jets, try and find him, pin him with LG, but there's a good rail to start. There's the Peeker. Can he trigger it this time? No, it's taken away immediately. Rocket jump, little trickery there, and CNZ will bull rush his way out of dodge. Can't even get the kind of consolation rail on the way out, Sirius, and this is going to be unfortunate looking. 2 minutes, just less than, as that armor stack is just looking huge on CNZ.
Yeah, this is the problem. It's not just the fact that it's 4 frags behind. The rockets come in. It's looking quite good for Sirius here. He's going to try and clean up the rail. Just wasn't enough damage. 88 HP for Sirius. He could charge in. He needs to at some point. Now he's only got a minute and 20 left. But this is the problem, you know. It's not the fact that you're 4 frags behind. It's the fact that for Sirius, he needs to take 5 or 10 seconds out each and every time to go for the items. So, end of the day, it's going to lead to trouble and will lead to that map number 5. We'll get the Mega, but it's only got a minute left. CNZ isn't even bothering with the lights or even with the health force. Managed to get the Heavy anyway, which is good enough to try and at least force out some damage. Rush comes in. He's done a huge amount, actually. Sirius didn't expect that at all, and he has to back away. CNZ cleans him up with the rail, and that is map number 4 pretty much done and dusted here for you, as we will go into the final map to see which one of these 2 players will go into the Pro League.
And this is just unfortunate. I think the problem was Sirius just had too much of a deficit to overcome on a map like this. Even with Strog, it's a great rocket straight to the chest if he can capitalize on it. Maybe, Lethal, maybe there's a way. He has to get so many spawn frags. There's one, and he's got 25 seconds for 4 frags, and if you believe in miracles, this could be it right here. He's going to catch him out at the rail, but he needs to be perfect. There's the bull rush away, and CNZ says, I gotta go, I'm late for a meeting, sorry.
Yeah, he was on absolutely none of that at all. Sirius gets cleaned up, CNZ got away. Decent rail from him, huge stack. That's pretty much done. So map number 5, it looks like you're not jinxing it at all, boy. You need to keep predicting more map 5s.
Yeah, I don't know. ZSX is probably somewhere shaking his head like, how is this idiot right? But nevertheless, sorry, Dan, I nailed it. Yeah, 5 maps, but now we get into Blood Covenant Keel, and I forgot the pick for CNZ, if you could refresh my memory. But Keel on Blood Covenant for Sirius, I think, is an uphill battle. I don't really, I mean, I know once you get into the best of 5s, you get into the deeper champs, but I think that's a pretty uncommon pick, and I think it might bite him depending on how it goes.
I'm just trying to think when we've even seen or last seen a kill on Blood Covenant. Like, yeah, okay, it may be an advantage for when you try and pick up the Mega, like, of course, like going from that light armor to the Mega, or maybe coming from the Rocket Bridge. But even then, it's very difficult to say what kind of advantage. Maybe it's something we don't know. Maybe it's an ace up his sleeve where he's been holding off for this map number 5, and you knew he was asking for it anyway. We'll have to see. It is a bit of a weird one. I don't actually. We might have seen it once, but that's literally about it. So it's going to be a tall order for him, I reckon.
Yeah, there's potential for maybe catching someone out at the heavy, maybe on top of Mega if they go up the jump pad without kind of checking, and then you can kind of close the gap with rockets, grenades. But other than that, Keel's just going to be kind of left out in the open. Those grenades aren't really going to be as lucrative as you'd want. Probably not going to get the mileage you want, but Sirius is a beast, and maybe he'll just hit these ridiculous air pineapples and shut me up. So we'll see. Tower of Koth, though, goes CNZ's way, set the pace, did exactly what he wanted to, widen the gap big enough so he could play hyper defensive, which he loves. And we're going to map 5, Lethal. This is it. I hope everyone in chat is clinched and ready.
I'm very excited for this. 543 more damage for Sirius. Look at that, 69%. Again with the rail, even if it is a scale bearer, you know, that's huge. And you know, it's like with Blood Covenant, rails have to be hit every single time. CNZ's been a little bit shaky here and there. Sometimes it was good, sometimes it's been bad. During the first half, it wasn't that great, but managed to pick things up during the second half of that game. But Blood Covenant, you know, when it comes to the rails, is so important. It can be night and day when it comes to comparing if you can get those items or not. But we'll have to see. It's I reckon this could even go to a sudden death at this moment in time.
Oh, I don't know if my heart can take that, but yeah, Keel versus DK on Blood Covenant. This one's going to be for all the marbles. Can Sirius break in and join his Maestro brethren, or is CNZ going to stay alive in the Quake Pro League? It all comes down to this. Chat, get hype, lock in your predictions. Lethal, I can't breathe. This is too much for me. I'm too chubby for this, but I'm looking forward to it. First set of the day for us, and it's going to go all 5. I'm excited, man.
Mate, the fact that we get a map number 5 in our first best of 5, I think that's good. I think that's right. You know, you asked for it, you got what you deserved, you know?
I can't wait. I can't wait. It's going to, like I said, it's a kind of a clash of styles. Every game has been close. I mean, that last one was a bit of a snowball effect for CNZ because he got that huge lead and then could just play hyper defensive. I don't think he's going to necessarily get that on Blood Covenant, but with a DK versus a Keel, again, Keel's kind of slow. He does have that stack to burn through if he wants to make some rocket jumps, but I think it's going to be costly. Either way, this is it. Map number 5 for all the marbles. Who's going to stay or break into the Quake Pro League? We'll find out in about 10 minutes. So I'm looking forward to it, Lethal.
Honestly, I'm so excited. Between these two as well, the fact that we could have another Maestro player involved. Sirius hasn't been around for a while, and he's come back. And the first time he comes back in the first instinct could be in Pro League. We never know, but CNZ could be doing another almost reverse sweep here as we head into map number 5, and we're going to start off in Sirius's POV to find out what exactly he's up to and what he's going to do next, as he's taken a little bit of damage, but he's done a little bit more compared to what CNZ has done already.
Good machine gun damage off of the bat here, and that flame strike, if he catches him in a corner, could do big damage right around here. There it is in the rocket as well. Sirius burning alive, needs to try and find a health orb, and he does down on the 25, but he's so weak as he tries to fire off some citrus to try and stay alive, but CNZ will be having none of that. Not a fan of pineapples. Gets a 1 frag lead early on.
Wow, that heavy machine gun shots. Just needed 2 more, but it wasn't to be. But look at this. If he takes him out here, he's going to tie things up, which he has done. And oh, the spawn as well, straight on bottom Mega. He needs to try and get away. Sirius must be thinking that, you know, he's in a very good spot trying to push up on that. But CNZ is lucky to get away with his life there.
Yeah, spawning straight into Akil barreling down is always terrifying. Tied at 1 right now. You can't help but think, is this going to come down to kind of a chase situation, which I'm worried. I mean, Keel, he's a thick boy. He's one of my favorites, but just a little bit too slow. So Sirius has to be very careful not to let, if he lets the lead slip, to snowball out of control here. Good rail from CNZ there as he goes towards rockets. Again, Flame Strike on hand. Trying to play for this Mega.
Sirius was prioritized in the heavy machine gun. Do feel that it's a lot harder to try and rail someone whilst they're using a heavy machine gun because their strafe is a little bit more unorthodox. But he's falling down, he's taking this huge amount of LG damage, not enough to maybe pursue, but Sirius is looking to see if he can try and catch him off guard. Sadly, that rail did miss. CNZ, slightest of stack advantages. That rocket just barely missed as well. Sirius is doing very well with the flanks. He's making the right reads, but needs to use the right time. And look at the LG damage here, 40. Still isn't enough, though. Still almost the same in terms of stack. Maybe the slightest in terms of armor, but he's waiting to see if he does push up. No, he doesn't. CNZ actually drops down instead to pick up the light, but Sirius knows on his exact whereabouts. Got the first rail. Will he get the second? No, he does not. Decides not to go for it anyway, and we'll be backing off just a tad here.
Unfortunately, he doesn't pick up the second one, but stacks about even after the pickups for CNZ. So he's waiting patiently on the rockets, and Sirius actually waiting for the telly, waiting around that power-up pillar. There's the LG, there's the flame strike for a little bit of insurance here. Now it's just a rush to the Mega. Sirius wants no part of it. Going up the jump pad would be damn near suicide. There's some good rocket damage from down as he drops down below, and there's the LG catching Sirius off guard. The pineapples won't save him, 2-1. He might be able to find him off the spawn. As he hears him, it looks like he's just setting up for rail damage on this. He doesn't want to commit too much, and actually a little bit of nail damage for Sirius there, just floating him on over.
Yeah, I was quite surprised, not going to lie. Stood still a little bit too long there around that light, but it's taken a huge amount. Look at the amount of damage CNZ has actually done to Sirius there compared to the stack difference before. CNZ still backing away, still holding back with those defensive rockets. The flame strike comes in, but won't be too much here. CNZ hasn't got the height advantage, needs to be careful, wants to try and contest this heavy anyways. Waiting for him to drop with the LG. That was beautiful stuff. 7 HP. Will Sirius even try and go for the trade? He's looking to see if he dropped for the light. No, he didn't, as CNZ is almost back to his normal stack and just done a little bit of damage with that rocket there.
That was just a beautiful string of LG. That rocket almost bailed out Sirius and at least netted him a trade, but 7 HP. CNZ will survive. Did some machine gun damage from the back as Sirius trying to fight his way towards a rocket, and CNZ making it extremely costly for him here. Sirius down to 100 HP after grabbing a 25. He's going to grab the upper armor, but CNZ will get the best of him by grabbing the heavy. Flame strike again on hand. So he has the 2 frag lead. Little under 6 minutes here, and CNZ looking pretty strong to defend his position in the Quake Pro League.
Yeah, Sirius has still got plenty of time. It's only got 2 frags to try and trail behind and try and catch up on. Still has time to play that reserved style. He likes to try and catch his opponent off guard. He would have heard he picked up the heavies. CNZ's got a massive stack. As soon as he finds him, he can definitely go and increase his lead if he can. But Sirius, being very cautious on what he wants to contest and where he wants to go, has realised that he has gone for the Mega, but isn't in the best of spots. He needs to try and get out of there if he can. Has picked up the Mega. Hasn't really taken too much damage from those pineapples as CNZ is on the hunt, literally chasing him down. But Sirius isn't really taking the bait at the moment here for him.
He's doing a good job of not taking damage, except for all that tri-bolt. Good rail on the heavy. He does need to start trying to punish these items and not giving them up for free. The problem is he appears to always be on the low ground. This is the first time where he's really able to fight from the high ground, but just like that, that rail sends him to the catwalk, and now he's going to have to try and get through this choke point. There's a rail. CNZ looking to serve up another. Good rails from Sirius, though. And the Mega pickup will save CNZ's life and the 50 shard. So good damage from Sirius. Stacks about even here as it looks like a race to the heavy. CNZ is going to take the jump pad up to rockets to get a better angle. The stairs is going to be the way Sirius goes as he goes for a jump rail. There's another one here. Retaliation from CNZ down to 50 HP. Sirius down to 25, maybe a little bit more. He will win out on the heavy, but Mega will go to CNZ. And this is just back and forth right now. Sirius really wants damage. Oh, he risked it all. That was crazy to jump through that string of plasma.
He was trying. He was trying. The rails have been a lot better from CNZ this time round, though. Damage, only 150 more in favour of CNZ. So he's even, not only is his rails improved, a lot more map presence as well compared to the last 4 maps. Great first rail. Will he go for the second? No, he doesn't, but prioritises the light. He's going to go for that Mega. But it looks like just a little bit too late for Sirius. But he's just had no map control the last few minutes. CNZ has just been on the hunt the entire time, and I feel like Sirius has just been suffocated for the last few minutes. He's only got 3 minutes 15 left. He needs to make something happen. Great damage from those 2 rockets, but will he be able to clean up? Yes, he does. I was quite surprised there. Sirius still put up a very good fight. And now we've got 3 minutes left on the clock. CNZ has a 3 frag advantage, but it can't slow down the tempo. Needs to keep him at bay.
That is just so ballsy to drop down and pretty much just, you know, say, all right, Sirius, show me your LG. And just 10 HP, barely survives that ride. Sirius should have had that frag, in my opinion. Very, very close. Very ballsy from CNZ to kind of gamble and risk it, making Sirius hit everything. Good rail, down to 100 HP. CNZ needs to be really careful. There's the Flame Strike to play it defensive. So weak. How many times have we seen CNZ with like 30 or less HP this game in this series? It's been absolutely insane.
I've lost count now, I'm not going to lie. But Sirius, he still has a chance. The only problem is, look at the item takes as well. In terms of the heavy and the mega, CNZ has already taken 21. Sirius has only taken 8. He's been really struggling to contest. And what you were saying earlier about the kill pick, you might be right. We'll have to see, but still 2 minutes left. Sirius needs to take some high-risk plays. He has the stack to do it now, but it depends on CNZ's defensive rockets. The Flame Drake wasn't too good, but Sirius has to go in now. Yes, he does. He gets that rail. Gets the second frag too, but needs to restack. Got to be careful with the trade. He's realised needs to back off. Maybe goes with the mega to pick up the health bubble and the life, but CNZ is going to be expecting that. He's already down there. He's dropped, but has decided to prioritise the mega. Sirius is very lucky, but needs to hit these rails.
Needs to get this damage, and this is where the problem is. A minute 30 left. You're playing against a DK who's not the fastest champ, but very, very fast in comparison to Keel. So Sirius is going to have a really hard time chasing down CNZ. CNZ knows that he has the advantage in terms of the speed, so might see some rocket jumps from Sirius as we're seeing now, but he's still got to play hide and seek. 2 frags, very doable. He's just got to find him, and CNZ's going to make sure that he doesn't get spotted at all. No chance in hell he wants to be caught out right now.
The chase is on Sirius. He's trying to do everything he can. The first rail comes in. He needs to push up here. Oh, the rocket jump wasn't the best, but he misses the second rail as well. Is he going to push in? Yes, he does. He gets to the rail, but it's just not enough. As the damage was quite equal with Sirius now. Needs to try and get the flank around, but CNZ has picked up the heavy. Sirius needs to do something now. There's only 45 seconds left. The LG comes out. It's taken a lot of damage there. 86 HP left, but the thing is 040. He needs to push in. He's only got 35 seconds. Needs to make something happen. But even if he does get the next frag, will he have enough stack to even force out the next fight? As CNZ is backing away, he's going to try and portal through. But Sirius is just waiting for him to go through. He's realised that he's actually got the flank. He went the LG route, instead misses the rail. I think that could be it here for you.
That is so heartbreaking. That's so smart from CNZ. He's like, I know you're waiting for the tele play. No, thank you. He diverts. 10 seconds left, and this one is done and dusted. He's done it. Sirius was knocking on the door. He was so close, Lethal, but CNZ just edges it out. And I think that really comes down to picks. Keel on Blood Covenant just, I don't know. That's unfortunate, but hats off to CNZ. He hugged the ropes as long as he needed to. He did what he needed to keep his position in the Quake Pro League. It wasn't easy. Sirius just fell short, and that's heartbreaking for all the Sirius fans out there.
Yeah, commiserations to Sirius, of course.
He'll be back
again. Oh, he will be 100%. But CNZ scraping by into the Pro League once again. Will we see another top 6? Well, I don't know. We never know. We've seen some weird things in the past. So, but yeah, CNZ scraping by again, back in the Pro League. It's been very, very tough. I'm not too sure about that kill pick, like you said earlier, like, you know, even with the Death Knight 2, but it was just such a shame. Sirius just was not contesting the items at all. It's always a height disadvantage, I felt like, but it wasn't really more in case of his fault. It was just CNZ keeping him at base, suffocating him down low all the time, trying to at least burn those lights as much as he can. He did everything he possibly could to make life hell for Sirius, and he did it. He did a good job.
Yeah. Let's bring back Wheat and see how he weighs in on this. Because what's breakfast without some shredded wheat? DJ Wheat,
Oh, I like it.
welcome
I like
back.
it, 40 Lions.
How
That's
are you,
good. Man? Yeah. Very, very similar to actually what we saw in the in the Quake World Championships, right?
Yeah.
Where CNZ kind of pulls it off at the end. Some back and forth. It went all 5 games. But he went on to do really well in the bracket play. Is that same thing going to happen now? I think we're going to have to wait and see. But Sirius showing some great skills. Unfortunately, just not able to kind of close the book. And that one skill, right, being able to close out the series, is what got CNZ from the challengers into QPL in the first place. So I'm not like surprised to see it, but I don't know that I would go so far as to say this is as strong of a CNZ as we saw during the Quake World Championship. So I think that we're just going to have to kind of wait and see how CNZ, traverses through the brackets from this point forward. Gave an interesting 5-game set though, so I can't really complain. And congratulations to CNZ for holding on to his spot. I guess we'll have to see how the rest of the bracket plays out.
Yeah, it's just teasing his opponents in relegation. It's the second time where a player's had a huge advantage, and then CNZ's gone, actually, no, I do want to stay in the Pro League. I will take the series, thank you very much. And yeah, it's a shame that he did it to Garpy, but now he's done it to Sirius. I do feel sorry for Sirius. He had the most damage every single time. I always felt like he had such good map presence, but it just wasn't to be. CNZ was just all over him. I just felt like he had so much map possession throughout the entire course of Blood Covenant.
I just really feel like the picks, man, on that last map is just unfortunate that that Sirius kind of ended up on the keel. Again, just too slow to try and chase. 2 frags, it's very doable, but I don't know. That's just unfortunate. I hope we see him again, kind of fight through challengers, and maybe next stage we could see him try and qualify again.
Well, we've still got a few more challenger matches coming up here for the Stage 1 finals. Thank you, gentlemen. Great commentating as always. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, it'll be the first challenger series on the U.S. side. Don't go away. We'll be right back.